Good afternoon and welcome to I Care, I Volunteer on Rogers Cable. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're very fortunate to have a wonderful panel joining us this afternoon. My name is Adrienne Beaudry. I'm the Manager of Volunteer Engagement at Volunteer MBC. We've done a few segments so far and I'm hoping that you have been able to catch all of them. If not, we hope that you will catch the rest in this series. Our goal really is just to give you some tools and information about volunteering so you can find the right thing that works for you and get involved. Volunteer MBC can be found online at volunteermbc.org, and we're here to help you. So this afternoon is really exciting. We have a great group of panelists, and we're just going to have a little conversation and talk about some of the different things involved with volunteer engagement. So I think we'll start at the left with Shirley, and if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about who you are and where you're coming from, and we'll go around the semicircle.
Sure, thanks Adrienne. I'm Shirley Hannigan. I'm the Community Development Manager at SHIP, Supportive Housing in Peel, and part of my role is recruiting volunteers within an organization and finding the right fit for volunteers. And so it's a fit about where they'll do the best work they want to do and where we can reap the benefits of what they offer.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, my name is Anthony Pegas. I am one of the volunteers for PYB. I volunteer there because I love to work at the Breakfast Club, and I asked to be part of that organization and other organization that I am in. I'm very happy about it, and I just want to let you know that volunteer is my biggest passion.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Great.
Hi, I'm Danila. I work for Scotiabank, and Scotiabank has a wonderful program called Team Scotia, and we also volunteer at different charity events or nonprofit organizations where we match funds. But before that, I volunteered at my children's school and all different sorts of organizations. And again, I love volunteering. And
wonderful.
So thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here today.
My name is Marjorie Taylor. I'm the president of the Kiwanis Club of Brampton. It's a club that has been around for a long time. It was established in 1957. Our main focus is on youth, children and their families, and we aim to help them one child, one community at a time. All our members are volunteers, including the board members, so we work as a team, and we to help our community partners, which number over 20 in this Brampton area.
Wonderful. That's great. We've got such great experience and knowledge around the table. I just want to start the conversation a little bit talking about some of the trends. You know, we talk about trends in volunteer engagement and how things have changed over the years. And so perhaps Shirley and Marjorie, you could speak a little bit to some of the trends that you've seen with people who are coming to your organizations or your service club to get involved as volunteers. So Shirley, do you want to start that?
I think a part of it is fit, because everybody has really busy lifestyles these days, and finding that personal work-life balance, and finding more that people are trying to engage volunteerism as part of that work-life balance. So if you've got a good work-life balance, hopefully you've got some time for volunteering, but it's about fit, it's about finding the right role for you, because I think in the past, many years past, people volunteered because it was sort of an expectation, but now it's I want to volunteer for the right reasons for myself, because it makes it a valuable experience.
Absolutely. And do you find that as an organization you've been able to change or adapt to the changing demographics of people coming in as far as their scheduling and what they're looking for?
To some degrees, there's still some challenges around it. There truly is, but we do work hard to work around schedules and to make things happen for people who are interested in volunteering. And Tony's a really good example. You know, I mean, breakfast program that he mentioned at Peel Youth Village operates at between 6 a.m. and 6:30 in the morning, Monday through Friday. And so it is a really big part of our volunteer program, and that's a good 30 plus volunteers. The other piece I'll just throw in is that a lot of our volunteers lately have been around faith-based organizations, so that's something we hadn't really had a lot of experience with in the past, and so it's been a real plus for us.
Wonderful, thank you. And Marjorie, what have you noticed, I guess, as a service, working with a service club? It's a little different than an organization like SHIP. What have you noticed?
I think we share some of the same, aspirations in terms of organizations. One of the trends I notice, being a newer member of the Kiwanis Club, many of our members have been there, have been members 40 or plus years. So we have an aging group. So we're trying to bring in newer or
Oh, great.
membership.
Yep.
So everybody's working towards that. So we are trying to do more promotion and encouragement. And I'm wearing a pin called Formula, and this is the Kiwanis is part of an international organization. So they are looking at different ways in which to engage and bring in new membership. So membership in different reiterations, like people who are in a professional group. People could be like an internet group. So, but they have a cause.
Great.
They're working towards a cause, but they don't have to. One of the things we find is that we used to have 2 meetings per month, but we went to 1 meeting because we found that we did not have, the interest wasn't there to carry that.
Yeah.
So we decided to go to 1 meeting and, use the other time to be more proactive and connecting with our partners.
That's wonderful.
So, we're trying to change, with the times. And
That's
people
great
don't
and so
have
important.
the time to attend. They have other things that they're afraid.
Life gets in the way. It keeps
Yeah.
us very busy. So,
does.
Daniela, what would you say that you've experienced? I think that as a volunteer with a corporation, it's maybe a little different than when you're volunteering individually, but maybe you can speak to what you've noticed and experienced.
Sure. I do both. So I volunteer on my own as well as I volunteer through the corporation. With the corporation, what I've noticed is if you are a young mom, you obviously can't volunteer as often as myself because my children are grown. So there are those trends, like, as the kids get older and the staff wants to volunteer, they'll find a way. They'll find babysitters, If it's something really close to their heart and dear to their heart, they'll find the time. And they really enjoy it. And we try to go out to different organizations and charities as often as, like last year we did, I can't even tell you how many, we put in at least 1,400 hours.
Wow. That's incredible.
The staff. So yeah, we love it, and I really, really enjoy it. But yeah, that's really all I have to say there.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Tony,
Yes.
tell us what you've experienced and what your experiences have been.
Well, my experiences when I first started, it was something that I feel that I wasn't able to start, especially where volunteer is concerned. Because of my schedule, I tend to look at it as what if I could do it or what I could do it. But as soon as I get into it, I realized that I could do it. And one of the challenges that PYV,
And that's the Peel Youth Village.
the PYV, yeah,
Yes.
we started to come up with a program that we decided that we want to implement to us. And so we take that program. And so this challenge is where I have to get volunteers
Yes.
to actually fill in for Monday to Friday. And getting up 6 o'clock in the morning is
It's a
not,
tough sell.
it's not a nice feeling.
No.
And sometimes when wintertime comes around, we do get people that says they cannot come out.
Yes, I
And
imagine.
so, but we have to see about the kids. The kids is very important. So I enjoyed it. There's challenges, yes, but I make sure that myself and the volunteers able to make a difference in the kids' lives.
That's wonderful. And we have just a few seconds left, and I just want to thank and acknowledge all of you for being here. I think you each bring different experiences with you, and it sounds like you're just going to continue making our community even stronger every day with what you do. So thank you very much. So I think we're going to take a short break, and we will be right back. Thank you very much. Welcome back to I Care, I Volunteer. We are just continuing our panel discussion, and we're so pleased that you're back with us. I would encourage you, actually, if you are social media inclined, let's keep this conversation going. So if you've got comments and thoughts and questions and you want to tweet them or post them on Volunteer MBC's Facebook page, please do so. And we can have a really great dialogue and conversation. Our Twitter feed is just at Volunteer MBC. So please, let's keep that conversation going. So we have a new group of guests with us now, and we'll just start from the left and we'll work our way to the right. And if you can take a minute just to introduce yourself and tell us what agency you're with and why you're here today, that would be lovely.
I'm Diane Rende. I'm the Executive Director for St. John Ambulance, the Peel Dufferin branch. And I'm here to talk about some of the volunteer screening processes that we go through with our volunteer membership.
Wonderful. Thanks.
And I'm Deborah Thompson, and I'm the Executive Director of Vita Center, and also here to talk about some of the screening processes that we go through.
Wonderful. Thanks, Deb.
I'm Andrew Adams. I'm a medical first responder with St. John Ambulance, and here to talk about the screening process and what it is to be a volunteer with St. John.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you.
And I'm Bob Strong. I am a volunteer with Bethel Hospice and Caledon Meals on Wheels.
Wonderful, thank you. And I appreciate that you've each taken the time to be here today. You each bring different experiences and knowledge to the conversation. So let's sort of kick it off a little bit. You know, when I started in the professional volunteer engagement, we didn't have a lot of screening. It was just, you seemed nice, come on in and volunteer with us. But now there's a lot more information out there about screening. And so perhaps as an organization, maybe Diane, if you could speak a little bit about why does your organization screen and what are some of the experiences you've had with that?
Well, I think it's a critical process in terms of matching a volunteer to a specific role in your organization. The volunteer wants to know, and sometimes comes with ideas that aren't an exact match to the positions. So obviously the first interview process is to ensure that do we have a match between their expectations and abilities and what the organization needs. But from then on, you have to have a screening process that makes sense with respect to the position and role that they're to do. And all the volunteer roles with St. John Ambulance do require interviews, training, and police record checks. And that's to ensure the safety of the clients we serve, the safety of the volunteers as they engage in their work, and the safety of the organization's reputation.
Wonderful, thank you. And Deb, at Vita Center you work with definitely a client base that would be considered vulnerable. So tell me a little bit, does everyone go through the same process? What have your experience has been with that?
Yeah, so Vita Center is an agency that works with pregnant and parenting youth, and so we have different levels of tasks required for our volunteers. And so what we've tried to incorporate into our volunteer screening is Volunteer Canada's 10 steps. And that's very important for us to be able to navigate through the different levels and tiers of screening. The highest tier, of course, are those who are volunteering with our children. And we want to make sure that we have quality screened people who are working with our most vulnerable clients within the agency. And we're really pleased to be able to do that because we want to have pride in who we have volunteering with us, and the volunteer also is proud to know that they're part of a higher standard.
Wonderful, that's great, absolutely, thank you. And so Bob and Andrew, I just want to turn the tables a little and ask, when you came to each organization that you're involved with and they said, all right, well you've got to go through this screening process, what was your response to that, and what was the process like, and what were your experiences? So maybe Andrew, do you want to?
Well, my experience was an understanding of, you know, we're going to be in the view of the public, we're going to be working with people with the coerce disorders, youth, we're going to be giving back to the community, essentially. And, you know, we want to make sure that the volunteers are safe and that everyone in the community is safe, and that the proper procedures are taken for us to be able to give back to the community, you know, in a safe manner. So.
That's wonderful. And your role, you're a first responder,
Yes.
correct? So when you started volunteering, what kind of screening or process did you go through?
We went through, well, myself, I went through a board interview. I got interviewed by several members of St. John, and I was asked series of questions. What are my goals? Why do I want to be a volunteer? Why do I want to give back to the community through this method of being a first responder?
Yep.
And, you know, why do I want to help people?
That's wonderful.
So-
And you've been 3 years there now.
I'm going on 3 years.
That's
yes.
incredible. Thank you. Wonderful. And so, Bob, tell us about your experiences as well, because I know yours was slightly different.
Yeah,
You got a bonus.
Yeah, well, they had said that they were going to be, that we'd go through a criminal check, and I had assumed that criminal check was just that they would do a search on you and everything should be fine. A couple weeks later, I got a call back saying that they had to take it one step further, and I had to come in for fingerprinting, and certainly I wasn't aware that that could happen. So,
Okay.
but they did reassure me that it does happen from time to time. So I went in
Yes.
and I was fingerprinted, and it takes traditionally 2 to 3 months, so you are on hold, and the agencies of course are asking when are you starting up, and you can't until you get your criminal check passed. So that was interesting, caught me off guard, but I fully understand why they had to do that.
Absolutely, that's great. And perhaps we can clarify with the vulnerable sector check, if your date of birth and name matches someone on the list, then yes, you win the bonus prize and get to do the fingerprinting.
Absolutely.
So, and I guess as we're waiting these months, and you know, it sometimes can be hard to understand when agencies are saying we need volunteers, and then we're saying wait. What have your experiences been from any of you as far as how did the agency keep you involved or keep you connected to them while you were going through this process? Is there something that you guys do within your organizations or know of other organizations that keep you engaged?
Yeah, well, certainly at VITA, what we try to do is if somebody's in a holding pattern and they're very motivated, and depends on the level of relationship that we've established with them as well, we try to give them certain tasks that don't require that level of security. So, you know, we might check this out with something that they can do from home or something that they can do that is online. So we look for other ways to keep them motivated and involved and to continue to give them the reassurance that their anticipated help is so important to the agency.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you, Diane.
Yeah, and you know, what I found is in working with the volunteers, as long as when that first initial interview process, you spell out what those steps are in that process, as well as the approximate timelines, then they're not coming into it with any surprise. Yes, we do have, similar to you, engagement processes where they can be observers. And actually, it is an additional part of the screening process for the volunteer to be able to accompany someone and to see what environment they're likely to be working in,
great.
because that will help them understand, okay, once I'm through this process, I'm going to be here, am I comfortable with that?
Wonderful.
So that screening process is also really important for the volunteer to experience something about it so that they know what they're getting into.
Wonderful. And so from sort of last words of wisdom from the two of you, someone who's watching right now and is waiting to complete the screening process, what are your words of wisdom for them? No pressure. Brilliant words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom. Just be patient while they're going through the criminal checks, and not all agencies, but they can certainly ask you to still come in and volunteer. In my case, with Bethel Hospice, and it's end-of-life palliative care, I volunteered for the kitchen, so it really wasn't an issue for me to have to pass the criminal check. Although that once it does happen, you do have to show that, and for record. So yeah, I understood that process, and the actual interviewing process was interesting because they do try to find a fit. End-of-life palliative care isn't for everyone, and they do look for a fit. And they're a real team environment, so they want to understand that if you're comfortable with that, we can work in maintenance, we can be friendly visiting, going into the rooms, talking to patients, and they want to know if you're comfortable with that.
That's
so
great. So they're keeping you engaged in another way.
Absolutely.
And so I think actually that wraps up the end of our time. Doesn't it goes very quickly.
Wow.
But I want to thank each of you again for your time and your experiences and your knowledge, and we will be right back after the break.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for being with us today, and welcome back to I Care, I Volunteer on Rogers TV. We're just having a wonderful series of conversations today, and really we want to give you as a volunteer or someone thinking about volunteering, or if you work with volunteers, we're just here today to give you some knowledge, some experience, some suggestions and things that we've been through. So we have 3 new panelists today, and we'll actually start at the far left and ask Kendra if you could just introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about yourself. And
so my name's Kendra Martin, and I volunteer with Volunteer MBC, helping with a project, and I've been doing this for about 1.5 years while going to school.
Wonderful. Yes, we roped you in with a short project, and then we just kept saying, she's good, she can do another project and another project. Wonderful, thank you. Helena?
Hi. Hi, my name is Helena Segwin, and I'm the coordinator of volunteers and student services at Region Appeal with the Family Literacy Program.
Wonderful. Thanks for being with us today.
I'm Naz Bapu, and I work with, I'm a volunteer and mentor with the Family Literacy Program as well. So Helena invited me out to share my experiences with that program and let the people know what it's all about.
Wonderful, thank you. And I should just say that as we're having our conversation, I'd love to see the conversation continue past this show, so please tweet us at Volunteer MBC, and we'll keep the conversation going, which will be fun. So I think that what I really love from each of you today is some of your knowledge and your, I wish I knew when I was thinking about volunteering. What do you wish somebody had told you before you started volunteering, or when you started volunteering and were still figuring things out? So maybe we could start with you now.
I wish somebody had told me that it would be so much fun. I think the Family Literacy Program is something that came across to me in an email, and I kind of read it thinking, I don't know, but this looks interesting. I think I would like doing this, and mostly because my kids are getting older now; they're teenagers, so I still miss that reading and that interaction with young kids. So I get this opportunity to be like a kid again. So I get to read to them, I get to play games, do arts and crafts with them. So it's been so much fun and so rewarding to be able to do that and share that with families and children again. That's
wonderful. I'm so pleased that the first thing you said was that it's fun, because it really should be. Hopefully it's fun.
Yes.
Most of the time. Kendra, we're going to skip you, Helena.
I wish I knew what great experiences I would get, ones that would benefit both me personally and professionally. I've had the opportunity to really develop some skills while going to school that have helped me in kind of choosing my career path and knowing the types of things that I want to get involved in. Working with developing volunteer engagement practices very closely related to HR, which is the field that I'm looking at getting into. And so it's really helped me kind of target that, and I wish someone told me that I should have done it sooner, because it's really been an added benefit to my education.
That's wonderful. Great, thank you. How about you, Helena?
Well, so I used to volunteer.
You've got the other side.
I've got the other side, coordinate the volunteers.
Yes.
But I was a volunteer. And that's kind of how I think this naturally just happened, that now I work with volunteers. So ever since I was little, working and volunteering at the hospital, and it just kept moving on. So in terms of the other side, coordinating the volunteers and working with the volunteers, I think people should know that is a very rewarding position to be in, but at the same time, very challenging. So you get to meet such wonderful people with amazing experience, and then there is the challenges. So the organizations like Volunteer MBC and other volunteer organizations can help you recruit volunteers, help you through that process when it almost seems like there's just too much on your plate to be able to find and recruit and interview all the volunteers that are needed for your program.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. I've been in the profession for a number of years as well, and you're right that sometimes it feels like you're the only one and everything gets put onto your plate to take care of. And you can sometimes just magically find volunteers, but sometimes you can recruit. And at Volunteer MBC we try and be there to help as well. So as we're sort of thinking about our volunteer experiences, what's been the best thing that you've experienced as a volunteer? Either of you, or Helena too. You've been a volunteer as well. Oh no, you're all looking
So
at
for the family literacy program, I think we were just talking in the lobby, and it's amazing to see the perspective of a small child. So here we have these families that come out, you know, they go through storms or whatever to get to this place, this our program, and we had this one topic where we asked the child to make out a bedtime routine. So they had the clock, the toothbrush, the dinner thing, and there was a pair of pajamas there. And so I said to her, "What is this?" She goes, "Oh, that's a nightsuit." I go, "Oh."
A nightsuit.
And so it's so explicit the way she said it. It's so descriptive, far more descriptive than pajamas, but it kind of helps me gain a different perspective. Like when you see things and you get that whole new fresh perspective, that's what really is exciting. And then to see them coming back and learning and sharing that with each other and with us, of course, as volunteers.
That's
so
wonderful.
That's awesome.
Did you start calling your pajamas nightsuits
Yeah, that's
now?
what I call it now. I call them
That's
night suits
excellent.
now. So
Now there's a glimpse into your home life.
That's right.
I'm sorry that we brought that out on television.
Yeah. What can I say? And on Twitter.
And on Twitter, yes.
can
It'll
discuss it.
hashtag
Discuss the
Naz
night
with
suit.
pajamas.
Yeah.
Kendra, what would you say? What would you like to add?
Kind of going on the perspective point that Naz made, but the perspective of the different industry. I did before I started volunteering. I never knew the challenges that the not-for-profit sector really faces in trying to find quality people to help out, whether it's in the office or on the front lines with kids or clients. I never knew that, and so that's been a very valuable learning experience. And
good, wonderful. And so, Helena, and I know you've been in the sector for a number of years as well. What have you noticed as far as changes in the trends or what people are looking for, and how have you been able to sort of adapt some of your programs or the way you offer your services to be able to engage people in the ways they're looking for?
Well, I think in today's society, people are so busy, and they're trying to do many different things. They're balancing their family, their work, and volunteering. And I think that as a coordinator, I need to be flexible and understand that people's schedules change and incorporate how I can help them still be able to volunteer. So finding positions that are short-term as opposed to long-term, that can work with some people.
Yep.
And making it a team environment, and making sure that we appreciate the volunteers, and they don't have to be there. They want to be there, and so whether it's appreciating them with a small thank you card or whether it's an event to a scale like that, it's just so important to recognize that people come with all different types of experience, that we all have experience to give, but we all gain, and
that's wonderful. Good, and and I do thank each of you for bringing your experiences, your expertise, your knowledge, because it is definitely a changing demographic. I think, Helena, you make an excellent point that people are giving their time, they're choosing to be here, and you each chose to be here today, so we thank you for that. Come visit Volunteer MBC online at volunteermbc.org. Visit us on Twitter and Facebook and all those good places, and we look forward to seeing you at our next show. Thank you so much.